What's up, my people? Thursday night, 9 o'clock, live Q&A session. We're gonna be a little bit quicker tonight on Q&A. Somebody else has got to use the studio here in a little bit. My boy Keith Miller out there in California. Keith, if you're watching, what's up, my brother? He's got an interview he's got to do, so I'm gonna let him use the software in just a little bit. So rattle off the questions. Let's get them loaded up. I'll give you a little preamble while we're while we're waiting for some questions to load in, even though we had some people waiting in the back over there on YouTube. YouTube's kind of funny. You can get in there early and wait for live shows to start. And ever since our YouTube following and YouTube audience has kind of grown steadily, I think we're almost near 3,500 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. It's probably the best format for these Q&As. It's just much more streamlined. But since we started loading up on subscribers over there, we actually have a bunch of people that are there early. They're in the quote, room or whatever in the live chat pretty early on before we even start. So their questions obviously get hit first. Now, Clayton, we're going to start with you, buddy. I'm going to go and tell you this is a silly question. I'd take Clemson right now over everybody but Alabama. I think that's the only game realistically that with a fully healthy Trevor Lawrence, I think that's the only football team that's going to play Clemson in a tight football game. Here's the deal. When Clemson and Notre Dame set off again or face off again here soon in the ACC championship game, Clemson's going to boat race them dudes, okay? They were at Notre Dame in South Bend, no Trevor Lawrence, okay? So, yeah, congratulations, Notre Dame. You won your first big night game and nationally televised 1 versus 4 game in a long time. But you did it without the best player in college football right now, in my opinion, in Trevor Lawrence. And you did it on the road or at home. So congratulations. Granted, there was no, fans in attendance. I get that. Home field advantage isn't really what home field advantage was or is. And even at a situation in Athens where I still think there is a home field advantage. Against Auburn, man, that stadium was loud as all get out. Caused a good bit of false starts early in that football game. So Notre Dame doesn't exactly have that. So I would take Clemson over just about anybody, Georgia included. Big. I would love to see what Georgia's defense in its current situation and its current conformity, what they would look like against Clemson. It would probably get pretty ugly. Is there a coach anywhere that, given the time, would be successful at Vandy? Look, this is a really tough job, okay? Getting kids into Vandy is hard, okay? Getting kids to stay at Vandy once you get them in is not the issue. It's always going to be able to get them cleared and inside academically at that institution. So that's the main priority. My brother actually got recruited by Vanderbilt to play baseball, and their athletics admissions person was actually telling him, once you get in, we just got to get you in. We have a 99% success rate in terms of you're not going to fail out. I think 1% of their student athletes actually flunk out of school. It's a matter of getting in. Once they get you in, they can keep you in pretty traditionally. So that's the main problem. Number one, it's hard to get kids into school there. Number two, facilities, right? I don't know if you've been to downtown Nashville where Vanderbilt is, but ain't a whole lot of room for growth, and the financial situation in Nashville for the University of Vanderbilt University isn't really football oriented. They don't really care. So in that sense and in that way. So it's going to be really hard in a facilities world in the SEC where everybody's battling to win this arms race of locker rooms and workout facilities and indoor practice facilities and new stadium additions and things like that. Vanderbilt's always going to lose those. So it's a really tough school to win at when you take all things considered. And guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Vanderbilt, donors and that whole fan base, almost not necessarily the fan base, but the higher ups in the fan base, right? The uppities, as my mother would always say, the uppity folk. They seem to think Vanderbilt football should be good, but they don't want to invest in it. It's from what I've seen. So it's a really hard job to win at. Now, some names I'm hearing, and one name I keep hearing is Will Healy, the coach at Charlotte. I think he's got a lot of energy, and that's the type of thing you need at a school like that. I'm with Kevin here again as he comments back on the same topic matter. Man, James Franklin winning back-to-back or going back-to-back season with 8 wins up there is ridiculous, right? Vanderbilt is the school that if you lose to, you're on the hot seat type of situation. Okay, so not a whole lot of expectations up there for that football program. Brooks, will JT be a first-round draft pick? I think after next year, he's got a very, very good chance to be a first-round draft pick. I've somehow missed a bunch of questions here. This was definitely a don't know what you got till it's gone type of situation. I think they're still talking about James Franklin here. As always, I love your content, Brooks. Thank you, Clay. In the South Carolina game, I saw a lot of poor tackles by UGA. Why is that? I didn't really – I went back and watched it once or twice, but I didn't really like deep dive into the football or into the defense against South Carolina. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of defense from my history as a football guy and a guy that played for a long time, a lot of how well you play defense is buy-in, okay? How well you get off the field, how well you rally to the ball, how well you tackle, how physical you play the game. A lot of that is, commitment to doing it, right? And when you're up 21-0 against a pretty bad South Carolina football team, and you've gotten three and outs in a row, there's a tendency to kind of turn down the dial just a little bit, right? I'm not saying they weren't fully engaged, but what I am saying is they probably weren't playing at 110% like they typically are in a really tight knit football game, right? Like they were early in the first half against Tennessee. They played phenomenally early in the first half against Tennessee, like they were for the most part, front seven wise. I thought they tackled really well at Alabama. They just gave up explosives, right? I mean, the Jalen Waddle touchdown, was that missed tackles? No. I didn't think they gave up a big gaping run to Najee Harris. They didn't miss too many tackles there. So a lot of that's buy-in. Late on in this season, you're going to see guys not necessarily always sprinting 110% to the football. And those are some things we'll watch during the offseason because guess what, guys? I got the all-22 in today in the mailbox, if you will. So uploaded all those to my YouTube channels. Obviously private links, so the public can't see them. Only Brooks can. But we'll be taking a look at those pretty soon. So that's some content for you guys to look forward to. This is TN Turf Dog. This is my guy. I can already tell based off the profile picture. This is my guy over there on Twitter that constantly drops the JT Daniels photos and almost all my tweets that are talking about Georgia football. So shout out to you, brother. You are always there. Appreciate you. Which draft eligible guys stay? I was talking to Christian Gokel on 3 and Out today down there, or Second Down, 3 and Out's the primetime show. Second Down's the second rate show. You heard me, Christian. I said it. But I was talking about him about this today. This is a really funky situation and a funky year in the sense that we don't really know whether or not there's going to be an NFL combine. We know there's going to be an NFL draft, but we don't know if they're going to be up there in Indy doing all the things they typically do. I would imagine that they do. So I'll go through the guys that I think are going to leave, and then you can take out of that who you think is going to stay. I think Jordan Davis declares early. I think Tyson Campbell, Eric Stokes most likely declare early. I think Richard's gone. Obviously, Monty's gone. I think Azeez Ojulari, if I'm in Azeez Ojulari's camp, if I'm advising him, I'm saying, look, son, you're set up to be a top 40 draft pick. These are things you gotta just take. I know you love Georgia, but you probably got to go. So offensively, if I'm Zamir White, I'm like, what's an extra 65, 70 carries next year? Probably should just take my chances. If I'm a 4th-round draft pick, it is what it is. I'm probably never going to be a first-round draft pick, or maybe even a 2nd-round draft pick with my injury history. So I might as well take my chances now and just try to go, especially considering what the running back room is going to look like next year. Lavassier Carroll's already coming in. We don't know if they're going to add Donovan Edwards into that room as well. So it's going to get really, really crowded in the running back room pretty quickly. It's the same kind of decision that Elijah Holyfield had a couple of years ago, Why come back? Like, even if you are an undrafted free agent, you're either good enough to play or you are not in the NFL. That is the way it is. Kirby Smart said as much the other day in his press conference. You're either good enough to make a team and play in the NFL or you're not. You know, a year in college may change that, especially if you're like a left tackle or a center or a guard. Get a little bit more seasoning will change that. But guess what? I mean, guys, Zamir White knows how to run inside zone nowadays, okay? He knows how to read his keys. Hell, he's great in blitz pickup. What is there really to develop in Zamir White's game at this point? People are going to say, well, he could become a better pass-catching back. Well, I would venture to say next year, I don't know how much more opportunities he's going to get to do that either, okay? So third down, they're still going to be putting Kenny McIntosh on the field. They're still going to be putting Kendall Milton on the field. Lavassier Carroll next year is James Cook Jr. That's exactly what he looks like. They're going to do that if James Cook comes back as well. So those are the kind of guys that if I were in their camp, I'd be like, hey, son, it's probably time to test the waters with the NFL. Clemson had to kick a field goal in the red zone 5 times. Exactly. That won't be happening again. You're correct with T-Law. Which of the top 7 teams do you think UGA could beat today? I've got to refresh on my CFP rankings right quick. I'm going to go ahead and say that I do think they could beat Texas A&M. I've never been fond of Kellen Mond. I think Kirby Smart would absolutely just unload on Kellen Mond, make him beat him, and I don't know if he can do that. I haven't watched a ton of them this year. I watched them against Florida. Even in that Florida game, though, it was like they won that football game because they could run the ball. They didn't win that football game because Kellen Mond was throwing for 450 yards and putting up Heisman-like numbers. So not really here for it. I think they would limit that football team and beat them. I do think they would beat Cincinnati just because, guys, I know these Cinderella stories are great. I understand, but if you just look through the schedule of Cincinnati, okay, I really do think it's why they're ranked 7th, despite the fact that they're undefeated. They beat an Austin Peay team 55-20. They beat an Army team, a South Florida team, Tulsa, SMU, who, by the way, has not looked great towards the end of the season, Memphis, Houston, East Carolina, and UCF. And they beat UCF by 3, by the way. So they're not just like cakewalking through their entire schedule like they should do or like they have to do to make it into these types of things. Dogs chance if Florida loses one of the next 2 games. How do you think it might play out? Texas A&M would have to lose this week. So, guys, I'm going to tell you what, and I shouldn't tell you this because I am one of these people that, you know, let's be honest. Let's be real about it. I make money off Georgia being good, okay? And here's how I know. When they're good, when they've got a chance for a national title or when they've got a chance to play for an SEC championship game, my clicks are up, my YouTube views are up, my subscription models are up. Everything is up, okay? So do I want them to win? Absolutely. Do I care if they don't? Yeah, I'm invested in it. I'm financially invested in it, not emotionally invested in it. Guess what? As is every other team beat reporter in the history of journalism, okay? If they tell you they're unbiased, they're lying. They're lying. We are invested in them winning. If they win, business is good. If they are bad, you don't read. You don't care. I've literally had people unsubscribe from our Patreon account. I had one person unsubscribe for our Patreon account that literally said, we got beat by Bama. The season's over. I don't care. I'm invested in them winning. But back to your question, I'm also realistic. There is no chance they make the college football playoff this year. Texas A&M would have to lose this week. Alabama would have to lose this week. Florida would have to lose not once, but twice. And then Georgia would have to get to the SEC championship game and beat Alabama. So, no, I don't think it plays out like that. We already talked about this. I think he's a first-round draft pick next year, as in JT Daniels. Any idea on notable juniors who will forego the draft? I think we kind of hit on this as well. I think they're almost all defensive guys. Now, I'm going to tell you what, today, I don't like to speculate, but I like to read tea leaves and give you my honest opinion on what's happening. Trey Hill hasn't missed a single snap this year for injury concerns. He hasn't been on a single injury report, not one. For him to go get his knees scoped, both knees scoped today, which, guys, all you do, you go get your knees scoped. Same thing Arian Smith had earlier in the season. You go get your knee scoped to clean up scar tissue, to clean up some type of minor issue that's going on in your knee. Okay. He was playing through all of those issues. If he was coming back for his senior year, I would imagine that he gets those things done at the end of the season. Okay. Him getting them done now makes me believe that he must be trying to get ready for something that's in April. What's in April, guys? The NFL draft. Okay. So that's not inside sources. That's nothing. That's me reading the tea leaves. The guy had a surgery to clean up issues that he was currently playing with throughout the season and was playing well, I might add. Okay. At South Carolina last week, they were running pin and pull. If you guys watched Monday's film session, you saw how much they were asking Trey Hill to block out on the edge, how much they were asking him to move, how fluid he looked while doing as such. So the guy was healthy. He certainly could have finished out the rest of the season healthy in the sense that he could have played. Okay. Why get something cleaned up to be ready for something in 4 months if the season that you might be coming back to play for, if you are coming back to play for, which I'm telling you, he's probably not. You ain't got to play until next September. So why are you going to get a surgery? Well, you're probably going to get a surgery because you're foregoing your senior year and trying to be ready for whatever NFL combine and whatever NFL prep that you've got to have done. That's my opinion. So Trey Hill, Azeez Ojulari, Tyson Campbell, Eric Stokes, I think those are the guys that you really need to be paying attention to as far as who might be leaving early. Zamir White, we just talked about him as well. So there you go. I'm sure we're going to get more Trey questions throughout the night, and that's fine. We'll address almost all of them. Will Brock Vandagriff be Trevor Lawrence 2.0 when he gets to college? No. They're two different players. Trevor is 6'6", really long arm, really long arms, but a really tight motion. Not really muscular, though he is a built dude. Brock's a physical football player. Two totally different guys. I don't even know who I would compare Trevor to in terms of stature and the way he plays and how big he is and his ability to throw the football, how fluid it looks. I've got nothing for anybody that's ever looked like Trevor Lawrence and done it successfully. I really don't. He is like if you took Peyton Manning and made him play with the athleticism that is required at the position in 2020. That is what Trevor Lawrence is to me. And emotionally, they're two totally different individuals as well. Trevor's real mellow all the time. Brock is too, but Brock's got some actual live personalities about him. Trevor's just all the time, just flatline the whole entire time. So two different individuals. I don't like comparing their games because they don't play the same way. Brock in high school is a much more willing runner than Trevor ever has been. I know that, I think the first real breakout moment where we're like, oh crap, Trevor's a good athlete was the Ohio State game last year. Did we make a mistake choosing Fromm over Fields? You guys, out of the 500, not 500, out of the 25 Q&A sessions we get, you guys know how to tick me off with this one. I don't like this question. So I'm not going to address it. I've addressed this thing 5 different times, probably 500 different times at this point. Find me the coach that walks in day one after going to a national championship with a true freshman quarterback, and in that true freshman quarterback's sophomore season says, oh, hey, by the way, we've got a freshman coming in that's going to play over you. I appreciate you for taking us to a natty in my second year of coaching ever, my second year of head coaching ever. Appreciate your duties. Appreciate your work. Thank you for your service. Now go on and get. Find me the coach that's done that. And then there's going to be people say, oh, well, he should have pulled him at LSU and put Justin Fields in. That's fine. You could say that. But you don't know. You don't know whether or not Justin had maybe checked out by then. I don't know whether or not Justin had maybe checked out by then. But I dislike this question a lot. What do you expect, UGA offense on Saturday? What do you expect from UGA's offense on Saturday? Do you think we run the score up? P.S. I'm a Georgia fan. Aiden Cruz, appreciate you for being here tonight, brother. Oh, by the way, super chatters, if y'all get in there, I'm going to hit your question first. It looks like I'm way behind already, as usual. So if I do have to cut it short at the end of the night, like right at 10 o'clock, I got to go. So if you got a question that I'm not getting to, just super chat it $1 and I'll get to it. Okay. So there's that. Let's get into Aiden's question. UJ's offense for Saturday. I do think they run it up just because Vandy's that bad. Okay. Vandy's not a very good SEC football team. Shocker, right? Real hot take there. Yeah, I think they do run it up. I think the seconds, the twos and the threes run it up on them Saturday because the twos and the threes are that much better. It's Brooks. Thank you, Richie. What happens if Florida loses out and Clemson beats Notre Dame? What's the top four look like? I think we're really, really hoping for some things right here, but Notre Dame probably still makes it in unless it's like a 40-point blowout by Clemson. So Clemson and Notre Dame will be two of the four. Alabama will be a third, and probably Ohio State at this point. So probably the easiest question we'll get all night. Thank you. Clay Williams, is Vandy playing UJ this weekend? Being a former player yourself, how did the Vandy players feel about Sarah Fuller hype? So here's what I tweeted about the other day. I don't have a problem. Yes, I do think they play this weekend, first of all. I do not have a problem with a girl playing on the team. Okay. Don't have a problem. Don't even have a problem with the way the media went about covering the incident. Okay. That's what they do. A history was being made. It's going to get covered like it's the first time it's ever happened because it was the first time it had ever happened. So I don't get mad about the way the media blew it up either. And I do understand the thought process that Derek Mason went through. His entire specialist units went down with COVID. There were no students on campus. They had sent them home. They don't have a men's soccer team. Yeah, they probably have a men's intramural team or a men's, travel, whatever, but they were home. So there was literally nobody on campus that could kick a football except for this girl. So you take what's best. She was the best option from what they were telling us. So you take her. Now, what I do have a problem with is we're 0-7. We have been playing together as a unit, as a football team for 9 months at this point, going through COVID, going through an insane offseason. Most of these guys have lived with each other and been homies for, a long time at this point. And we got some newbie coming in at halftime telling us that we're not playing hard enough and the atmosphere on the sideline wasn't good enough. That I would have a problem with, okay? And not necessarily a problem like I'm going to go confront her, but I'm definitely going to tune it out, and it's going to fall on deaf ears, which I think was the case. Good morning, Brooks. Jay, you're so funny. All right, for those who don't know, don't get this, Jay is in the Discord. He works night shifts. He constantly says good morning to all of us as if all of us work night shifts at about 1:30 in the afternoon every single day. So thank you. Who's your starting five in the O-line next 2 games and next year? Next year, hard to tell because we just don't know what's going to pan out in terms of what recruits are going to look like coming in. Is Amarius Mims going to slide in and play early? Is Broderick Jones going to be ready to play to come time next year? We don't know. That's way too far down the line. Predicting a starting quarterback's one thing. Predicting, who might be the starting 5 offensive line is a total other scenario. Okay, those guys battle it out all camp. Okay, literally till the last day, most of those jobs are up for grabs. So, who do I think is going to be this weekend? I think you're looking at the same offensive line, except Warren Erickson at center. Okay, and then midway through, I would say the second quarter, I think you really start to see Kirby playing fresh bodies in there. I think everybody gets reps Saturday. It's a home game. They can dress a ton of people. I even expect guys like, maybe Chad Lindbergh and Austin Blasky who haven't really dressed out all year. I wouldn't be surprised if they dress out Saturday, okay? They're going to be playing a lot of guys across both lines of scrimmage and both sides of the ball. It's just the way it is. Here we go. Back up to this question. Brooks, are you going to any high school playoff games tomorrow night? Zane, I am actually calling the game East Coweta, Parkview at East Coweta. So it'll be on TV. It'll be on streamcity.org. I'll be releasing a link tomorrow afternoon as we get to the closer to game time. So you guys, if you're interested, can watch. It should be a very good football game. Obviously, Parkview's got Cody Brown, the Tennessee running back commit. East Coweta's got a defensive end that I'm extremely high on, like extremely high on. I've watched him for the last 2 years. His name's Dylan Spelios. He's committed to Army. Actually, he's committed to Navy, I believe, but one of the military academies. The dude is phenomenal. He's like 6'3" or 6'4", maybe close to 6'4.5", 6'3.5", 6'4". Big, tall, long kid, and plays like his daggum hair's on fire constantly. Every time that football team needs a big play, Spelios makes it. So I'm really, really excited to call that football game tomorrow. And it'll be a quick one, okay? I was doing some research today. Parkview runs the ball 63% of the time, and East Coweta runs the ball 66% of the time. So if you want to see a slobber knocker, tomorrow night is your game to watch over there, East Coweta and Parkview. So come hang out with your boy. I'll be doing play-by-play or color analyst, play-by-play, whatever. I'll be doing Tony Romo's job. It's a color analyst, okay? My boy James O'Brien, shout out to James, will be doing the play-by-play. Why can Stanford play at a top level and Vandy not? Stanford is a top academic school. Hey, here's one for you. California. They in California. It's a little different. And they're not in the SEC, okay? And they play a totally different brand of football. And it's got much more prestige in terms of a history as a football program. So it's totally different. It's apples and oranges, honestly. Who do you think has the edge when it comes to QB2 next year, Beck or Brock? Again, this is very similar to the offensive line debate. That's a battle that's going to wage on from January 1st until August 30th of next year. So talent-wise, I think Brock obviously has a lot more talent, right? But there is something to be said about a guy having he'll have a full year and a half in the system come August. So in Carson Beck, so it's a little bit different in terms of what's going on there. So a little toss up here. I'm going to take Brock though, honestly. Can we tell anything about the program based off the lack of opt-outs still after no chance after? Yeah. Hey, look right here, Colby. I think this is a great point right here. And it's something I was telling the OGs over there on the Patreon account. Y'all should subscribe. Sweet onion chicken teriyaki foot long a month. That's how much it costs. So it's a great value. Not the Walmart brand, but actual legitimate great value for what you're getting. Guys, football teams everywhere are having a really, really tough time getting guys to play hard this year. Georgia is not one of them. That speaks to culture. I was talking to somebody close to the program the other day, and we were talking about it, and I was like, this school and such school, I was talking to such school, they're all having problems, and what do you think that says about you or you guys? And he was just basically saying that it speaks to our culture. What we do day in and day out, these kids come in, they want to get better every single day. They want to play even when there's nothing to play for. Even when you think there's nothing to play for other than a Peach Bowl bid, to them, there is something to play for, and it's to play to get better. It's something that they preach. It's cliche. It's whatever. It works. And at Georgia, it is working right now. And there's a ton of programs in this country right now that are having a problem with some really good football coaches. They're having a problem getting kids to play hard. This is not one of those. Okay, so we already hit on this, Chris. I do think Trey ends up declaring, is Brock going to be okay sitting behind JT all year next year? Worried that no. Okay, here's the deal. We were talking about this in the Discord chat the other day. Yes, I think Brock Vandagriff would be totally comfortable sitting behind JT Daniels for a year. And no, you don't have another field situation because, guys, Jake Fromm was a 2017 signee at the University of Georgia. Justin Fields was a 2018 signee at the University of Georgia. Had you asked Justin Fields to sit behind Jake Fromm, it would have been for 2 straight seasons. It would have been for the 2018 season and the 2019 season, assuming that in that same case, Jake Fromm would have left early. You're asking a freshman to sit 1 year next year if JT Daniels does end up coming back, which I do believe he does. So totally different situation. 1 year and 2 is literally 100% difference. Not the same situation at all, in my opinion. Does Georgia finally have everything they need to win a natty, or is losing leaders like Richie, Monty, Schaefer, whoever too much? It's kind of a catch-22 right here, man. Losing Richard LeCounte hurts big time. Losing Monty Rice hurts big time. Who they're going to replace them with, I don't know. Does a freshman end up playing at safety? I don't know. Is Chris Smith going to come back and play in Richard LeCounte's way right, or in his role as he is right now? Lewis Cine back there, yeah, I think that's going to be the case. I worry about losing Monty, but they've been deep at the inside linebacker position forever. Okay, Quay Walker's still going to be there, even though there's questions about him in terms of his ability to read and make the correct keys and make the correct reads constantly. And Nakobe's going to be back, so you're fine in those two spots, I believe. The Schaefer absence, I'm going to tell you right now, ain't that big of a deal. Okay, so yeah, I think the main key for Georgia next year is, for the first time in a long time, they've paired up the offensive coordinator and the quarterback, assuming next year. So I don't like to go into a year telling people that they're going to win a national championship. I honestly thought 2017 might have been their best chance, or 2019, excuse me, last year. I thought with the offensive line that they had, the defense that they had, even the stable quarterback play that they had, I thought that was the best opportunity for Georgia to win a national championship in quite some time. And they didn't get it done. Okay, so the South Carolina game obviously hurts big because you don't get into the playoff because of it. I think even though you got trounced by, or just absolutely the doors blown off of you by LSU, I think at that point they still would have had to have taken you. You know how I know? Because they left them at 5 after LSU beat the brakes off of them. So if you don't lose at South Carolina or against South Carolina at home, you make the college football playoff last year, and then who knows what happens. Maybe you find a spark of explosiveness. But they just didn't get it done X's and O's wise, I thought, last year. Schematically, offensively, they were pretty abysmal. And that's why you saw the changes that you did. George Pickens goes for over 150 Saturday. I'm selling the heck out of that. Okay. I wouldn't, if you showed me the stat sheet next week or Sunday after Saturday afternoon and said, hey, look, or Saturday evening and said, hey, look, JT Daniels only threw for 150 yards, I wouldn't be shocked. Okay, which was your next comment? Or do we run the ball all game? Yep, I think you do. Thanks for everything you do, Brooks. Best college football analyst. Going to be Herbie one day. If I'm Kirk Herbstreit one day, I will just absolutely die and go to heaven. That would be insane. You think Georgia could beat Ohio State? Nope. He said, because I do. EJ, you might be the only one. Okay, where you at right here? You might be the only one. Congrats. Let's see here. Cinderella story doesn't work in football the way it does in basketball. 100% true, Jeremiah. Why does Georgia's offense look mediocre year after year prior to JT? Let's see here. Last year, I thought it was offense coordinating or schematics wise. Just didn't think they were very good. And they had some deficiencies at the wide receiver position in 2018. I wasn't covering them then, but man, again, same thing. You just weren't explosive when you needed it, right? You needed to be explosive in the SEC championship game. You weren't. You needed to be explosive at LSU and score a good bit of points. You weren't. And then 2017, I thought their offense was doing exactly what they wanted to. In terms of rush yards efficiency, I think they were one of the tops in the nation. So there you go. What round does Trey go in? I think he's a 3rd to 4th round draft pick. Find me an O lineman that hasn't had his knee scoped. This guy never had my knee scoped, never had any issues with my knee, never tore an ACL, never did anything. So I was told he tore his meniscus. Again, another thing here. Guys, there's guys out there playing. This is what I think a lot of people don't understand. The meniscus, though necessary, is not a requirement in your knee. Okay? I play with guys that have 5% left of their meniscus. Your meniscus is just a ligament that runs in a circle in between the joints of your knee. Okay? Your knee sits like this, ACL, MCL, the PCL wraps in the back. Your meniscus is literally it's just a piece of rubber, basically, that sticks in between two bones. And if you have no meniscus, that joker just rubs back and forth and it hurts really, really bad. But structurally, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, now, if he tore 5%, it's literally a circle. So when they tell you tore 5% of it, that 5% of that clock, let's say noon to like 12:30, you tore that, okay? If you tore 25% of it, you tore noon to 3 o'clock. Okay. I'm not a doctor, but I played with enough guys that were basically playing without meniscus. I had a guard that I played with in college that had like 3% left of his meniscus. Okay. Tough ass dude. His name is Christopher Bino. Bino, I know you're not on social media. I love you, dude. If you're watching this, anybody that's watching this play with me, y'all know how tough that sucker was. He would literally like have plays where he was almost blacking out from pain just because he was that nuts. Like he was playing literally with bone on bone in his knee. Okay. The meniscus is not a requirement. There's a bunch of guys playing football right now that have meniscus issues. Okay. If he tears an ACL or anything like that, that stuff's got to get cleaned up. And now, okay, meniscus, we can wait till the end of the season if you can bear it. Do you think any of our seniors will use that extra year? I think DJ Daniels, a candidate you might want to be paying attention to with this one. Jay with the good morning again. What's up, Axe? Who has bigger hands? Me. Massive hands. Any chance Vandagriff beats out Daniels? No. What round do you think Jermaine Johnson will go? I think he might go 5th, 6th, 7th round, undrafted type thing. Okay. Just not enough production. Not enough production at all in a long sample size. Okay. All we've got is this year. That's it. And I think he's only got 5 sacks maybe at this point in the season. So yeah, he's producing this year. But again, when you watch it on tape, and that's what NFL evaluators are watching, they're not watching a ton of Jermaine Johnson because he's not on the field a ton. So yeah, he's producing at a really high rate this year in terms of snap counts to production stats. But find me the reps of him on first down over his career, right? Find me the reps of him playing against the run early on downs. It's really, really tough to do. So it's a really tough evaluation point, okay? I'll tell you this. I see this a lot from Jermaine Johnson. I see this a lot. When I'm watching on Saturdays, I see number 11 saying, hey, tapping his helmet, saying, hey, come get me. I'm tired or I'm hurting. Something hurts. So there's that. That's my opinion, okay? And I guarantee you, when the scouts watch it, they're seeing the same thing too. So not a lot of production, great body, right? 6'6", 265, 270 pounds, monster of a human being, absolute freak show. So yeah, he might have an NFL future, but are they going to invest in it highly? I just don't know. We talking about big feet around here. Big feet does count. What round does Richard LeCounte get drafted? Guys, I think this one's going to shock you, but it shouldn't based off him coming back for his senior year. Richard didn't get a very high draft grade last year. Okay, his draft eval was much lower than I thought it would be. And it's kind of playing true again this year. Here's the thing about Richie. Richie's my favorite football player to watch on tape. He's my favorite football player to cover. He's my favorite football player to watch on Saturdays because he loves the game of football so much. He's so instinctual. He plays the game extremely physically, and he has a great time while he's doing it. Always a smile on his face, and that dude loves the school that he plays for. All that being said, he's 5'11", 190 pounds, and if and when he goes to the NFL Combine, I would venture to say he's a 4.52 runner, 4.55 runner. It's not a lot of measurables there. NFL's about measurables, okay? They don't really care how instinctual you are. They think they can teach you instincts. They don't really care how much you love the game. They're going to pay you to love the game. They're betting on measurables, okay? That's why the Combine's there. Height, weight, speed is the most important thing to those guys. So that's the thing going against Richard. Now, I'll say this. He's going to go in the late second, early third round, maybe late third round, and every single team that needed a safety that passed up on Richard LeCounte will absolutely regret it. They will absolutely regret it. He's going to play 8, 9, 10, maybe 12 years in the NFL, and he is going to be a great football player, okay, as he has been in college. That's my opinion. Does Beck play on the doors after – oh, you saying does he play Saturday against Vanderbilt? I think it's very possible. It should be. Hype Litsky. What a name. Hype Litsky. Love you. Love you too, bro. Let's get back up here. Does Beck play Saturday? If he don't play, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? If he don't play, what are we doing? Austin, can I get a score prediction? Brooks is the name, and 48-3. That's right, Sarah Fuller. Go get you one, girl. What's up, Brooks? Headed back to the beginning. Completely agree about new mouth in the locker room. 100%. Does UGA finally have what it takes to win a natty, or is losing leaders like, I think we already hit this one. You got Walton over Colquitt, right? Austin, I'm glad I read the name because I was about to say, oh, no. Austin, I'll tell you what, if you're still watching right now, you got, 20 hours before y'all walk out of that locker room. You best make sure your boys know. Okay, for y'all who don't know, Austin Eldred plays for Walton. He's a commit to Kennesaw State, I believe. But what I'm going to tell you is you best let them boys know right now that it's about to be the most physical football game they've ever played in their life. And I know y'all are a physical football team. Y'all play like your hair's on fire. Y'all play balls to the wall constantly. Y'all got a bunch of crazy dudes. I saw one little defensive lineman out there in pregame against Brookwood, like doing the freaking slamming my helmet on my head. I know y'all got some crazy folks, but if you don't know nothing about South Georgia football, you about to find out, son. I'm going to tell you that right now. So buckle your chin strap, tighten it down just a little bit more, and get ready to go play some big boy ball because that's what y'all about to do, okay? That is a tough football team. It's the same thing I was telling people about Brookwood going down there last week. Brookwood was a banged-up football team, a mentally banged-up football team as well. They were not ready for that smoke. They were not. Physically, mentally, we're not ready for that smoke. Y'all might be, okay? And like I said, you got about 18 to 20 hours to let your boys know that it's about to get real, okay? Again, you can ice the wounds and you can get an ice bath tomorrow or Saturday morning, but just know that y'all about to get hit harder than probably you ever have, and hopefully they are too. So yeah, I think you got a chance, but I ain't gonna pick you over them yet. I'm gonna have to see because I know some guys on that defensive staff down there, and they real. I'll tell you that right now. If you got a headset and could call plays, what are you opening with? Inside zone left. Just like every other offensive coordinator. Every other offensive coordinator opens up, especially in a game like Saturday. They're going to open it up slow and just roll. Hey, you're better than Romo. Romo has brain freezes. Heck no, I ain't better than Romo. Romo's about to make $10 million this year calling football games. I ain't better than no Tony Romo. Y'all wild. I appreciate the support, though. I really do, but I ain't got blind support of myself like y'all do. Who is our biggest loss moving into 2021 on both sides? On defense, you know who it is. It's Richie. And then it's Monty. Offensively, I don't really think you lose much. I mean, Ben Cleveland, great football player. They'll be better, okay? There will be better. Not they'll be better. There will be better, okay? He's a fourth, fifth round draft pick, I think. Third, fourth, fifth round draft pick. Body's beat up nowadays, guys. That body is absolutely beat up, and he's a scheme fit. He's only going to be able to play on certain teams. He can't play for San Francisco. Can't run that outside zone scheme. I don't think he could play for Atlanta with the way they run the ball, outside stretch zone, stuff like that. So we're talking about teams like Tennessee. That's about it. Who all plays like Tennessee? Even Baltimore runs a lot of power and stretch runs and stuff like that. So I don't even know if he could play there. It's tough, guys. It's really, really tough. When you can't move, it's hard to play in the NFL. Okay, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't think there's that much of a loss offensively. Seeing that we aren't getting rid of COVID, do you have any indication that we'll have any more of an offseason since we've largely made it through a whole season without huge consequences? Kind of confused on the questioning here, Jay. I think what you're asking is, are we going to have spring practice? If so, yes. But hey, I think there's going to be some vaccines rolling out, right? I said from day one when this stuff hit, I don't care about nothing. It's all white noise. Don't tell me about nothing. I don't care about nothing. I'm gonna put my mask on. I'm gonna be a good citizen. I'm gonna walk around, wash my hands. Don't touch my baby or my wife without washing my hands, or sometimes even taking my clothes off that I went to work in or whatever and coming back in. Okay. Friday nights, I don't see my child. I don't touch him until I get up and take a shower. Okay. When I come back from football games. So that's the way I've been. But I'm telling you right now, I've not cared about anything other than a vaccine. It's the only thing that I've set my mind on and read up on and paid attention to. Let me know when there's going to be a vaccine. As soon as the vaccine hits, guys, we're going to be okay. And I think it's on the horizon. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I don't know if I'm taking that first one. I ain't trying to grow no third arm or something like that. Who knows? After JT is gone and either Beck or Brock take over as the starter, does the other guy leave? I don't know. I think it with one-time transfer rules, I think you have to assume so, right? I think that hits or goes into play in January of this year, where you can go anywhere you want one time and get free year or free eligibility. So yeah, I think you would be kind of silly to sit around behind two guys, not just one. Why do we keep running inside zone when there's nothing there? Because it sets up the rest of your offense. Split zone sets up your play action work. And there's really only 6 or 7 run plays you really have at Georgia. You got inside zone, you got pin and pull, you got split zone, you got outside zone, you got truck sweep, you got jet sweep, you got counter, and you got power. So there's 8 run plays. That's really it. I think we have all the pieces of the offensive puzzle and just need to put them together. We're so close. Good call. You get mad when people call you Austin, or are you used to it now? One player to watch develop in 2021, Jalen Carter. Look, I've been getting called Austin my whole life. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop you from or correct you when it happens. Okay? You know what I'm saying? If I called you Gary instead of Garrett, you'd be like, hey, man, my name's Garrett, but I'll answer your question. Same kind of thing here. You'll call me Austin. I'll get mad. Like I said, I just correct you. My name is Brooks. It's a simple correction. It's not, dadgummit, get off my live stream. Ugh, my name is Brooks. It's my name is Brooks, and then I answer your question. Development of Jalen Carter next year is going to be insane. Ben Bowers is just tight end coach now at TNM. Boy, did he fall from grace. Absolutely. Hey, Cole's a good dude, though. Y'all take it easy on him. Honest thoughts on future Beck versus Vandagriff battle. I think we kind of answered this earlier. I like Vandergriff to win that out. And then, Carson to go absolutely destroy people wherever he goes. I mean, absolutely light it up wherever he goes. And you just better hope it's not Florida. I'm just telling you, you just better hope it's not Florida. The kids from Jacksonville, Florida or Bama, honestly. But I don't think it's going to be Bama either because of Bryce Young. So, which player do you think is having a disappointing season? I would say Tyreek Stevenson due to super talented. I'm here with you, Keon. I was expecting Tyreek to play a lot better this year. I've been on the Tyreek Stevenson's a first-round draft pick bandwagon for quite a while, and right now he's not playing like it. Okay, period. End of story. And it's the ball production. I don't know if they're just going away from him. I don't know what it is, but Georgia runs enough match coverage or covered match zone that he should have some ball production. He should be intercepting footballs. He should be turning people over. He should be making hit sticks. He should be flashing on tape. And as of right now, he is not. They put some weight on him, and I don't know if I would have. I liked the way his body looked and the way he was moving as a freshman more than I do right now. But they know more about that than I do. There was a reason they asked him to put on what looks to be 15 pounds. So there was a reason for that. The other guy is Justin Schaefer. I totally missed on Justin Schaefer, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. And I think it was me seeing his highs when he got into the game the last couple of years. Man, when he got into the football game, he played so aggressively the last 2 seasons, and now he's on there every down, and people are taking advantage of it. And he's still playing as aggressive, but he ends up on his face more times than he puts people on their back, which is a problem. It's a major, major problem. And some other things, there's some basic fundamental issues that I see, which really is concerning to me. So there we go. Yes, there's your answer to that question. Does the lack of high draft picks start to hurt us in recruiting? Guys, I don't think so. I don't. And what lack of high draft picks? What? I think you're going to have another first-round draft pick this year in Aziz. You had 2 last year. I would count it 3 because of DeAndre Swift. I mean, if you go 36? You go 35 to the Lions as a running back, that's basically a first-round draft pick. I know it doesn't go down as one. It doesn't get listed as one, but It's a really, really high draft pick. No, they're not getting hurt with recruiting at all. I think the one counter recruiting point that they kept getting hit on over the last couple of years was people telling defensive line recruits like Mason Smith, like Corey Foreman, like Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, hey, they don't produce first-round draft picks on the defensive line. And for the record, the last true defensive lineman listed as a defensive lineman to get drafted out of the University of Georgia was David Pollock. Okay, look it up. The rest of them, Leonard Floyd was a high draft pick. He was an outside backer, technically. He played as an outside linebacker, a real off-ball outside linebacker when Kirby actually played a 3-4. Now they play a 4-2-5. I don't care what you tell me. They are a 4-2-5 defense. You can argue about this all day long. I will pull up the tape right now and show you they are an even front defense that plays with an odd front gap control. Okay? They're an even front defense. They play 4-2-5, period. They used to play a traditional 3-4 with guys like Leonard Floyd, Davin Bellamy, playing on the outside together, Lorenzo Carter. Okay, they used to do that. They don't do that anymore. Why does our secondary keep getting smoked on Saturday? I don't think they've given up a big play since Florida. So what are we talking about? Alabama got them, Florida got them. Everybody else they've kept in front of them. Florida canceled a trip to LSU. Still think he's a Clemson lock. I would say lock, but I still do think he goes to Clemson. Does Alatuna have a chance tomorrow? I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked at it. Ain't nothing like them South Georgia boys. Fact. Austin back in here. Appreciate it. We're 100% ready. That's great, bro. I hope y'all are. I'll be keeping up with the score for sure. South Georgia football is no joke. Repping Valdosta, Georgia. Outside zone over inside zone. Not with this offensive line. I'll tell you right now, Jamari Sawyer at left tackle, an absolute liability running outside zone. Ben Cleveland at right guard, absolute liability running outside zone. Those young men are made to go straight. Go straight and go on an angle. They are not made to do this yet, okay? Now, they're recruiting to do this, okay? Broderick Jones can do this. Marius Mims can do this. Dylan Fairchild at guard can do this. Michael Morris can do this. Cedric Van Pran can do this, okay? Those other guys, they ain't ready to do that. They said McGlinchey couldn't run OZ and he's doing okay. Is he, though? Is he, though? Go search Mike McGlinchey's name on Twitter and come back to me on that one. He had a great rookie season. He's been getting his lunch money stolen for like 4 years now. Go watch that. What round does Zeus go in? I think I said earlier, maybe third to fourth round. Probably later than that. He's a day 3 guy. He's a 4th, 5th, 6th round draft pick, I think. Brooks, do you think JT is a Heisman candidate? Yeah, every Georgia quarterback's a Heisman candidate. I think I wrote 3 articles this year about a Georgia quarterback being in the running for the Heisman. Jamie Newman was like the 3rd overall favorite. I think he was literally 3rd. It was Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Jamie Newman at the beginning of the season, before the season started, before Jamie opted out. And then Jamie opted out. JT Daniels immediately got thrown into the mix. And then when Stetson took over during week 1, his name got thrown in the mix. I think you could have got Stetson at 16-1 for Heisman odds at one point. Just absolutely absurd. What does our defense look like next year? Solid as always under Kirby Smart. Do you think Blaylock will need a season to get back to 100%, or will he be ready for Clemson? I don't know about ready for Clemson. I think, especially what happened this year, I think they kind of slow him up just a little bit, okay? I think it's probably like a y'all hit the freaking like button. I appreciate you, Johnny. Yeah, hit that like button. I'm not a good YouTuber. I don't tell people to do that stuff. I just assume you're going to do it. If you want to, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. I'm not the guy that opens up with, hey, while we're here, like, subscribe, rate, and review. Okay, I don't do that stuff. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm not a good YouTuber. I just give you content. If you like it, you like it. Y'all seem to like it. The retention rates on this stuff's insane. Okay, I'm waiting to run to an advertiser because stuff is ridiculous. The average retention rate on this stuff, especially in 2020. Thanks for all you do, Brooks. I know you ain't tripping about the Austin thing. Go Dogs. Can't wait till 2021. Appreciate you, brother. Does Georgia finally have a D-line next year, backups included, that dominate like Bama and Auburn last year? Yeah. I think they've always had the talent to do so. It's just been about whether or not Kirby will let them loose. Okay. They don't really do the whole let guys fire gaps, let guys slant, let guys win their one-on-ones, give them free reign to give them a two-way go. If they're in a gap, they're told to be in the gap. That was the scheme for them to be in that gap. They don't allow guys to have two-way goes. Guess who does? Ohio State. Guess who every single year has a first-round draft pick, it seems like, at the defensive line position? Ohio State. Because they do that kind of stuff. They don't care about gap integrity. They'll just go. All right? So that's not what Kirby Smart does. What Kirby Smart teaches and preaches is gap-controlled defense. So that's the way they play. Got somebody trying to check me on Geno Atkins in here. Geno Atkins was a fourth-round draft pick. Okay? The last first-round draft pick at the defensive line position is from Georgia is David Pollock. Look it up. Okay? Am I the only guy still driving the Carson Beck bandwagon? He's been my guy since his junior year. I'm starting to worry I won't get to see him lead the team to a natty. No. And I just said, like, literally, I think that if he does end up at another program, Carson Beck will throw he will have a 3,500-yard season. Okay. He's going to absolutely destroy in college football. I just don't know if it's going to be at Georgia just because I don't know. I could say the same exact thing about Brock Vandagriff and whoever else is coming in to play quarterback, okay? It's just a wait and see. It's the only position in the world, of the sporting world, where there's only one of them. There's literally only one of them. Even backup catchers in the MLB get 30 games a year, okay? Backup shortstops every once in a while get a game, okay? Utility players get a game. Every other position on every other sport in the history of America plays, except for the backup quarterback. It's the only one. So it's just really hard, guys. You load them up like Kirby's done, and you get yourself in trouble in this situation. If Darnell Washington gets a little quicker, what do you think about him and his potential? Potential's through the roof, but you hit on it. It's about whether or not he's ever going to be able to separate. And Keith, who's probably going to kick me off this live stream here in a little bit, was the guy who was preaching it. He was telling me from day one, guy's a tackle. He's an offensive tackle. And I was like, no, dude, just give it a minute. Just because you haven't seen it done before doesn't mean it can't be done. Just let it happen. Let it play out. Right now, he can't separate. Great blocker, though. My God, great blocker. He is blocking his butt off right now in the SEC, which I'll be honest, was something I never thought I'd see. If you go watch his high school tape, I don't even know. I think they might have had to teach him how to put his hand down in the ground in a three-point stance. Who are the top four receivers next year? Obviously, Pickens. I'm going Karras, Jermaine, and just based off the way I know that Todd Monken historically has used speedsters, I'll go Arian Smith. I'm sure I missed somebody. JT go pro or compete with Brock next year? I don't think he goes pro this year, but hey, no telling. Hey, Brooks, I'm a Clemson fan. How likely is it? Very likely. I think that you land Corey Foreman. Who's a better NFL career, Tyson Campbell or Stokes? I'm going to take Eric Stokes just because I'm a real big proponent of Eric Stokes. I love the way he plays the game of football. What do you think the offensive production will be like with Trey Hill's injury? Here's what's going to happen. You ready? Prediction time. Get your screen recorders ready. Trey Hill's going to be out. Warren Erickson's going to be in. It's going to look like absolutely nothing changed with the offense, and everybody's going to run to Twitter and be like, told you, Trey Hill's trash. When in reality, Vanderbilt's trash. Okay, there ain't going to be nothing. It ain't going to look no different. Now, if and when they play Mizzou and when they get to a bowl game against a good football team, at that point, you're still not probably going to see a major difference. Because nobody really watches the interior of the offensive line. Every single person that has commented on any article or tweet I've ever put out about Trey Hill playing center, they say he's trash and then immediately follow it up with, well, he can't snap the ball. You know why? This is the only 3 bad plays they ever see. They see Trey Hill snap the ball bad and like, he's trash, right? They don't watch it. They don't. Nobody watches the offensive line. Everybody watches the ball. They follow the ball. That's why they know when he snaps the ball bad. Otherwise, they're just like, there he goes. Play either worked or it didn't. And if it didn't work, offensive coordinator, awful. Get a new one. Doesn't know what he's doing. If the opposing team scores, defensive coordinator, terrible. Our defense is playing awful. What is going on? Y'all get so mad, but most people don't know what's happening. That's why I do what I do over on the Patreon account. I firmly believe, and I'll start selling my work right now, in my Patreon guys that are here right now. Tonight, instead of me asking you to tell people how good of a product we have over there, what I want you to give your testimony about is how much you've learned about the game of football and how much your watching experience on Saturday has changed. How much more you know while you're watching the game and how it's impacted the way in which you watch the game of football. That's why we do what we do over there on that Patreon account. And that's why that's why the people, the guys that are over there, the guys and girls that are over there, they love what they get because it's completely enhanced the way in which they watch their favorite football team. And to me, that is valuable and important. Personally, I think McGlinchey is decent, not great, but I only watched 3 games or so. Not playing good. I'm telling you right now, getting his lunch money taken. What has Cochran done to improve special teams so dramatically? Guys, here's the deal. This is why I thought Saban, if he's ever made a mistake, it's this one. Guys, coaching special teams ain't that damn hard. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. It's not rocket science. Schematically, it's nothing crazy. Everybody runs the same damn formation. It's teaching guys to stay in their lane and pursue the football. That's it. And the punter's going to be the punter. Scott Cochran don't know how to coach a punter as much as Scott Fontaine ever knew how to coach a punter. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cochran's not over there watching Jack Podlesny going, oh no, plant foot looked a little weak on the front side. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what's happening. So all a special teams coordinator is there to do is make his guys play hard on those snaps. And at Georgia, where Kirby Smart asked 5-star after 5-star after 5-star, starter after starter after starter, go out and play special teams, it is vital that they love playing for the guy that they're playing for. And guys do that under Cochran. They want to play for that guy. They want to play really, really hard for that guy because he's energetic and they love him. So that's what the major difference has. That's why the special teams have improved so drastically. There's much, much more buy-in. And buy-in's everything on special teams. It is a selfless job, okay? Here's how I know. What are most people doing on Saturday afternoon when Georgia's playing and they're sitting at home watching the game and onside kick or a kickoff team comes onto the field? They're probably still running back from the bathroom getting, a beer or using the bathroom or, getting a new set of nachos or whatever. Y'all aren't sitting down holding with bated breath going, oh, I can't miss this punt team. I can't miss this punt return snap. I can't miss this kickoff from Jack Podlesny. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all about buy-in, and that's what that dude's really, really good at. Last couple of questions we will ask here. Or actually, we'll just do the analysis. I got to go, guys. Brooks is the master football analyst. Best money I've spent on his Patreon account. He is better than 99% of the white noise out there. Mikey B. Appreciate you, Mikey B. You to do, bro. I have definitely started watching both sides of the line a lot more and can recognize the double teams, pin pulls, etc. Thank you, Justin. It has made me a lot calmer on Saturdays because I understand what is happening. That's the major key, right? Fans are really, really, really emotional. And if you know what's happening, it can calm you down. Now you know what to fix. You're not just sitting there yelling at the TV, what the hell is going on? Because you know what's going on, right? It has definitely opened my eyes on how Monken schemes our wide receivers open. That is right. What's up with Clay Webb? Van Pran is a guy. Can't wait until next year playing center. I mean, what is there to say about Clay Webb? Plays guard on a football team that's loaded with guards and good ones. That's it. All right. Let's answer this one last question. Do you think Cooks is getting better, or are we just been playing bad defenses recently? A little bit of both. I'll be honest with you. This offense favors his skill set a lot more. But the 25-yard touchdown run he had Saturday, ain't nobody touch him. Nobody touched him. The day James Cook has gotten better is the day he is consistently making the first defender miss. Until then, to me, he is a track star. You want to know why Dalvin Cook's so good? You want to know why Dalvin Cook's one of the best running backs in the NFL right now? Because he makes the first defender miss. And if you can't make the first defender miss, you cannot play SEC football. You cannot play in the NFL. End of story. Justin, Patreon, worth it? That's it. I'm out of here. Y'all be good. Have a good weekend, man. For real. Y'all be safe. And tune in. Tune in to the streamcity.org link that I'm going to put out on Twitter tomorrow. Come watch me call a daggum good